This presentation is a short status report for the City of Petaluma's General Plan Update. For anyone new to the project, it also doubles as a brief project overview. This presentation was prepared for the September 29th, 2021 Community Visioning Workshop. The presentation has four parts. First, I'll explain what a general plan is and why general plans are updated periodically. Next, I'll briefly summarize the scope and timeline of the project and introduce the work that has been the focus during 2021. I'll then explain the community's role in the planning process and share highlights of initial community input. I'll then close with an ask that you continue to stay involved so that the plan reflects the diversity of community perspectives. Because this presentation is very high level and brief, we encourage you to visit the project website at planpetaluma.org to learn more. Let's get started. What is a general plan? State law requires that each local government have a general plan. A general plan describes a community's vision and establishes policies that guide future local decision-making. Some of the general plan's most important policies inform future land use, development, and related regulation. A general plan also identifies programs to implement that policy. General plans are long-term and comprehensive. They usually have a 20 to 30-year plan horizon and can address most community priorities. General plans have 8 required elements or chapters. Over time, a general plan impacts residents' day-to-day life in a number of ways, including the preservation of open space, housing, roadway and path improvements, parks, and economic development, to name a few. Because they have such a long time horizon, general plans are only updated periodically. General plan updates are therefore a unique opportunity to bring the community together, hold a community conversation about priorities and strategies, and collaboratively create a path forward. Not only will Petaluma's general plan update address critical topics, but it will do so in a holistic way that focuses on strategies that are synergistic, that accomplish several goals at the same time. In addition, the updated general plan will integrate with other city plans and with its regulatory system and decision-making processes. So what does the general plan update process look like for Petaluma? First of all, the project is more than just a general plan update. It also includes a climate action and adaptation plan that builds on the city's climate emergency framework. They are being done in tandem to ensure that they are complementary and consistent. Importantly, the planning process also builds on recent city planning, like the ULI Technical Assistance Panel report and the Local Hazard Mitigation Plan, and is being done in coordination with ongoing planning projects like the VMT thresholds and the Bike and Pedestrian Master Plan. The project also includes an environmental impact report as required by law. The Petaluma General Plan update is uniquely comprehensive. Including the 8 required elements, the updated general plan will address many local priorities like environmental protection, housing, transportation, parks, climate change, and hazard mitigation. I need to stress, however, that the general plan is primarily a policy document. It can't address all of the city's challenges, and it requires follow-up action to be effective. For example, the general plan can identify the need for a parks master plan, but it will not include that plan. The Petaluma general plan will be designed for easy implementation, but it will take years of follow-up activity. This is a multi-year project, and we're early in the planning process. During the discovery phase, the planning team has been preparing background reports for all of the general plan topics. In August, we launched the public visioning phase, which will conclude with the City Council adopting the general plan vision and guiding principles. Initial public input will also inform the alternatives phase, which will conclude with the City Council adopting a land use policy map to guide the city's future development. We will then build on the discovery, visioning, and alternatives work to prepare a complete policy framework for the general plan, which will be the foundation for the final product. General plan updates are a lot of work. This slide gives you a sampling of some of the major work products. Importantly, the city's policymaking body, the City Council, approves each major interim policy product and will adopt the final updated general plan. Though the planning process generally moves in incremental phases, some phases are concurrent and overlap. In 2021, we have been working on 3 distinct phases: discovery, visioning, and alternatives, which will keep the city on a path to meet the housing element statutory deadline in early 2023. As context for the visioning workshop, I'll now briefly introduce the purpose and scope of these 3 phases. Existing conditions reports are foundational technical reports that inform subsequent steps in the planning process. Deep dive reports or white papers are being completed that focus on a broad range of topics. As they are completed, they will be posted online, and starting in October, overviews will be presented to a number of city committees and commissions as well as to the City Council. While working on existing conditions, the planning team has also been using public input to develop the foundational vision and guiding principles for the general plan. Together, these describe the conditions that community members want to see several decades out and outline the direction that the city needs to follow to achieve that vision. These inform next steps in the planning process and ultimately frame the general plan. The planning team has also been preparing for the alternatives phase, and by extension, the housing element, by identifying areas in the city where land use changes are expected. This helps us prepare the analysis necessary to help the community understand and evaluate different options or scenarios that we'll consider during the alternatives phase of the project. It also helps us focus future community meetings. As I noted earlier, the power of a general plan update is not just the final product, but the process of bringing the community together. A general plan is effective to the extent that it reflects representative community input. City staff provide expertise specific to the city, its operations, and its plans. The consultant team, on the other hand, brings a broad range of expertise in planning, engineering, economics, housing, and many other topics. But only the public can provide the place-based local knowledge that is critical to any general plan update. Therefore, public outreach and engagement are a major focus of this project. At each phase of the project, you and your neighbors will have a variety of opportunities to shape the plan. During each phase, there will be a mix of meetings, workshops, surveys, forums, and other opportunities to provide input. There are also a general plan advisory committee, which advises the planning team on an ongoing basis. It typically meets on the 3rd Thursday of the month, and all meetings are open to the public. Again, for more detailed information, including a more detailed overview of engagement opportunities by phase, go to planpetaluma.org. The general plan update did not start from scratch. Through a variety of initiatives and with extensive public input, the city has already established goals, priorities, and action plans. Likewise, before the consultant team started in 2021, the city had already conducted general plan outreach through a survey and committee and commission meetings. More recently, to help prepare for the September 29th workshop, we held a series of area meetings and continue to host informal pop-up booths at community hubs across the city. At the August and September area meetings, we asked people to share what makes each area unique, what issues, challenges, and opportunities the area is facing, where they see opportunities for changes in land use and development, what areas should not be changed, and other needs for improvements like pedestrian safety, parks, and street trees. This input helped us prepare for the areas of discussion exercise during the September 29th workshop and will be used to develop alternative scenarios for the general plan. Informal pop-ups have been held at farmers markets and other community gathering places. More are in the works. At these pop-up booths, people are invited to share what they love about Petaluma, which will inform the pillars of Petaluma that are part of a workshop exercise. They are also invited to identify priorities, which will inform development of the general plan's vision and guiding principles. We also ask, where should new development be located, and how would you like to see Petaluma evolve over the next 20 to 30 years, which will also inform the consideration of areas of discussion. We also ask what mobility improvements are needed, which will inform the development of alternatives and later the general plan policy framework. Some clear priorities are emerging. Again, because the scope of Petaluma's general plan is so comprehensive, you have the opportunity to help address each of these priorities in a coordinated and strategic fashion. It's important that you and your neighbors continue to stay involved. Through the fall, we'll be sharing findings from our existing conditions analysis at several committee and commission meetings. We'll also be hosting educational forums on some of the topics that the community has identified as priorities. Toward the end of the year, we'll be presenting both existing conditions findings and a draft of the general plan vision and guiding principles with the City Council. All of these meetings are open to the public. To ensure that you are informed about these and other general plan activities, be sure to sign up for the project update email list. Also, because this presentation was very high level, we encourage you to explore the project website to learn more. If you ever have any questions, you can also contact the project team at planpetaluma@cityofpetaluma.org. Thank you very much for your interest in Petaluma's general plan update.